Welcome to the Green Room. Close the door. Hey, y'all. Oh, God, I sound like Paula Deen. Hello. Oh, now I sound like RuPaul. Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but we are back with the Green Room. So, I haven't done a podcast, in like 3 months, because I was doing it for a class, and when you do it for class, you get it done, but when you do it in the real world, you usually forget about it. And it's the only podcast I've ever done before, and I actually just went back and was listening to it, and it's completely awful. I sound like I don't even have a personality, which I kind of don't, but still, it really came through, and it's very disheartening. I can't believe it, but I decided that I thought I would try to give this another shot because, a lot's happened in the last 3 months. I went to New York. Hello. I graduated college, so that's a big milestone. So, what else does a 23-year-old college graduate who's educated with no job and broke, what do? They have so many opportunities. So, you know what they do? They decide to do a podcast. Yes, a podcast. And I don't really know what I'm going to talk about in this podcast because I'm not really prepared like most of my life. So I'm just going to kind of talk, see where it goes, see what happens, put a little bit more energy into this segment, this podcast, I guess, because last time I sounded like a monotone English teacher that was ready to croak because she had to go home to her husband, Frank, who is too busy crunching on potato chips to know what she's saying. So, we'll see what happens, and see where it goes. It could go anywhere, because I'm rambling right now, as you can tell, and I love to ramble. I do rambling well. I should have got an A+ in rambling in school, but to get back on track, so this is apparently going to be my opening. It's kind of bad. I'm sorry. Please stick with me through this. I'm actually going to quit for a second and I'm going to try to go figure out what I actually want to talk about so that I'm not rambling the whole time so that y'all can enjoy it with me. So, I'll be right back. I'm going to go figure out what I'm doing with my life. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, I'm back. So, that I really didn't go anywhere. I'm sitting on my bed because this is the kind of production we're doing. We're like there's more, but it's me with my phone. But I was thinking about this, and I really don't want any of you to have to go back and listen to my first one unless you just really want to make your ears bleed. But if this is your first time listening, you probably want to know why it's called the Green Room, or maybe you don't, but you know what I'm going to tell you. So I decided to name it the Green Room. Because at my school there was a green room, which if you don't know what a green room is, it's kind of like a hangout room, behind the theater, not behind the theater, like behind the scenes, not like actually physically out back behind the theater, but you go there to just kind of hang out. We always hung out between classes. You can hang out in there when a play is going on, if you're in the cast and stuff like that, and we always gossip in there, we always talk crap in there, so I thought, what other perfect thing to call a podcast if you want to talk about theater crap than the Green Room. Sorry, I just kind of blanked because I thought I heard somebody come up the stairs, and I'm very paranoid. But, back to the topic. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to call it the Green Room, and also because one of my best friends, Brianna McDonald, is a very smart person and pretty much gave me this idea. So, bless your soul. And that was actually meant in a good way. I know I'm Southern, and usually that doesn't mean a good thing, but it is. This time. And, so yeah. So, I thought that I would talk about going to New York because that was so much fun. And, well, yesterday was the Tonys. Clap, clap, clap. If I actually had people here and this wasn't a low budget project, and when I say low budget, I mean there's no money, I'm on my phone, I would actually have people clapping, but I don't, so clap, clap, clap. And unfortunately, I missed them. Yes, I'm a very bad theater person in general. But I was looking through and I saw things that won. Bette Midler, of course, a lead actress in a musical. Hello. So fabulous. And speaking of Bette, I thought it would be exciting to tell you my story about Bette Midler. Okay. You might not care, but you're going to want to listen to this. It's really not that exciting. But, so, we go to New York. We went to New York. Me and my mom went to New York in April. And we stayed, 5 or 6 days. And so, the very first night we got there, it was like a Wednesday or something. And we were going to go see the play Anastasia. I was totally obsessed with it. Still totally am. It was so amazing. Costumes, singing, everything. So we got really good seats for that. We were in like the 5th row and we were so excited. There was a gay guy sitting next to me, which made it even better. He was fabulous. And, so we watched the play. So good. So it was in the Broadhurst Theater, which is right next to the Schubert Theater, which is where Hello Dolly was being, played. So we go see Anastasia, and we're those kind of people that kind of like everyone else to go and like get out of the way, and we'll be the last people to leave kind of thing, because everybody like herds out like a thing of elephants. And so we were kind of in the like back leaving the theater, and as we were leaving, these two guys that, I don't know if they were security guys or if they just worked there, I don't know. But they were like, oh, we got to get these people out of this little alcove over here because she's going to be coming out soon. So I turned to my mom like, oh my God, I was like, I bet it's the girl that's playing Anastasia. And I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad person. I don't know her real name. That's awful. But I was like, oh my gosh, we need to stick around and see her. So we walk out and there's cops on horses out there and stuff. And so we're like, oh, this is real. And so we sit there and literally, you walk out of the door, and in between the two theaters, there's, like, this, kind of wooden, like, fence-looking thing, but you can obviously go in and out of it. It's like a door. Duh. And so we're like, ooh, somebody's gonna come out from in there, so let's stick around and, see if we can see. So we're just chilling out. There's a lot of people out there because they wanted to pet the horses and all that stuff, and so we're waiting. We waited probably like 15, 20 minutes, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of over this. Nobody's coming out, obviously. And we were like, people were asking us to take pictures of them, and like, we're just being really great tourists, okay? We're helping all these people out. We should have got paid. We should have charged people, honestly. We could have made a few bucks that night. But, so we're sitting there, and I'm facing the theaters, and my mom's kind of in front of me, and she's facing, like, the road. Well, at this point, the two cops that were on the horses kind of moved, and they made, like, this big area, and more cops showed up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna try to get this girl out of here fast. And so, it had really cleared out by that point, and I'm like, okay, let's just go. Well, literally, like, we were about to leave, and here comes the door, the wooden one. The fence thing, you know what I'm talking about. And it opens, and out comes this big, like, burly, like, guy, bald, and this woman, which you couldn't really tell if it was a woman or not because their face was covered, but she was so, like, small, I was like, it's got to be a woman. And this other woman behind her, they come walking out, and I'm like, what in the world? These people are being so secretive. And, well, the woman that was covered, she looks up, and my mouth dropped, y'all. It was freaking Bette freaking Midler. Okay? The Bette Midler. And I was just like, I couldn't speak. I literally have never been that speechless in my life. And if you know me, you know, like, I'm not speechless ever. And so I'm like, Mama, that is Bette Midler. And so my mom looks at it and she's like, that is not Bette Midler. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, trust me on this. This is Bette Midler. And she's like, okay. And so she kind of wasn't paying attention. Well, at this point, she's moving closer to us. She gets literally, I'm not even joking, y'all, when I say she gets literally maybe 4 or 5 feet away from me, looks up, y'all, we make eye contact. I mean, we locked some eyes. You want to talk about somebody's mouth dropping open? I was like, oh, if you could see me right now, you would see how wide my mouth was open. That was, okay, let's move on. And I was just like, in awe, couldn't speak, couldn't even be like, Miss Midler, because, well, I also felt kind of bad, because at this point my mom realized, okay, this really is Bette Midler, and so we're both like, oh, but I felt so bad, because I didn't want to say anything, because she looked up at me, and we locked eyes, but it was almost like that, oh crap, this person just realized who I am, and they're about to say something, now I'm just trying to leave my show, I ain't got time for all this right now, I'm tired, and so I was just like, oh. And literally, it was like, glance, all this happened. All this is going through my mind. She literally walks past. They put her in this car. I've never seen a car move so dang fast in New York. You thought taxis were fast? Girl, this driver was gone. I was like, oh my God. I literally was just 5 feet away from Bette Midler. Like, literally, if she had swung sweat, it would have hit me in the face. And I would have been okay with that. And I was just like, my mouth is open right now. Y'all can't see that. But I was just like, oh. And literally starstruck. She didn't even say nothing to me. If I ever go anywhere and become famous, I will tell this story again. She will not know what I'm talking about. But if she ever hears it, I'm acting like she's going to hear this. And I literally, best part of my entire trip in New York. Literally, all the things we saw, that was the best part. I was hoping we would run into somebody famous. I didn't think it would actually happen. We actually saw this other woman. I do not know her name. I feel really bad. But she played one of the aunts on Sabrina and the Teenage Witch back when. And she was in line to go see Hello Dolly. I didn't know what her name was, though, so I couldn't be like, hey, let me take a picture. Because, like, if you don't know the name, you can't go up to them. That's just rude. Like, how you gonna want their autograph but don't know who they are? And so, but yeah, y'all, that, oh my gosh, such, I'm literally, like, my heart's beating so fast just even talking about it right now, because I can't even believe it happened. I will never forget this, never. But listen, I'm gonna take a little break, we're gonna come back, talk about the Tonys, tell y'all a little bit more about my trip, and, yeah, okay, see you in a minute. Hey y'all, I'm back. So, real quick, I felt really bad that I didn't know the ladies' names previously that I was talking about, because if I was going to mention them, well, I should have known their names. But I wanted to mention them really quickly. Playing Anna/Anastasia is Christy Altamere. I think that's how you say her last name. Not completely sure. She was absolutely fabulous, y'all. Oh my gosh, she had such a voice, so pretty, such a good actress, costumes, set, the whole play was just amazing. I would totally go back and watch it again. It was so good. And then the woman that I saw that was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch was Caroline Rhea? Not really 100% sure how you say her last name, but she played Hilda Spellman. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Google her, because as soon as you see her face, you're going to know who I'm talking about. So, those are the two ladies, and I'm sure you're like, well, why didn't you just, like, edit it in so that nobody ever knew? But I really wanted to try to do kind of a, like, whatever happens type podcast. I didn't really want to do a lot of editing, because I think sometimes when people say things, it's really funny, and when it just comes out and you don't have to switch it around and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and, I'm gonna kind of go ahead and end it here. Not, like, right now, but, I know I said I was gonna talk about the Tonys and, like, my New York trip and stuff like that, but I didn't want to make this podcast too terribly long, because I don't know if you're like me, I start listening to things, and if they, like, drag on or longer than I expected, I get kind of bored, and I'm like, bye. And so my first podcast was kind of long, so I didn't want to make this one long because, well, I'm kind of getting up there anyway, so, But yeah, so I know I said the Green Room podcast was mainly like a theater podcast, but I mean, TV, movies, they gotta have a green room. They gotta have somewhere they go chill when they on break. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about some movies and some TV shows that I really like, that I enjoy watching, and I wanted to hear from y'all. If there was any movies or plays or TV shows, anything like that y'all enjoy or want to just hear my opinion about, which, I mean, I'm nobody special, but I got an opinion just like everybody else. And the green room's kind of a place where you can just be honest about it, so I'm willing to just have some fun, give you my honest opinions, and I want to hear y'all's opinions, and hopefully I can make some friends, teardrop, and get some people in here to get their opinions too, because, I mean, I have friends, but we're not all in the same place anymore since we graduated, so maybe I can get back with them. I know I want some of their opinions, because, girl, they got some opinions. And, so send me some suggestions, some things you want to hear about, some things you want to talk about, whatever. So, as RuPaul would say, I will now sashay away. Bye!